Life has a way of balancing itself, whether people believe in it or not. No deception lasts forever. No betrayal goes unanswered. The moment someone throws thorns in your path, thinking they've won, they unknowingly set themselves up for their own downfall. The irony: they paved the road to your success with their own actions. They thought they buried you, but they were just planting the seeds of their own defeat. Every lie they told, every attempt to break you, every obstacle they placed in your way, it all had a price. And now, the debt is due. The universe doesn't need permission to correct what's been distorted. It simply watches, waits, and strikes when the moment is right. That moment is now. Your enemies are starting to feel it. The same mouths that slandered you are dry with fear. The same eyes that once looked down on you now avoid your presence. They move differently now, second-guessing every word, every action, because deep down they know. They know the weight of their deception is closing in. They know the lies they spread are coming back to them, heavier than they ever expected. They thought they had control over your story. They thought they could twist the truth and rewrite reality in their favor. But the truth is relentless. It doesn't fade, it doesn't bend, and it never disappears. It lingers, waiting for the right time to rise. And now, it's roaring louder than ever. This is the power of being chosen. Your presence alone haunts them. Your success is a shadow they can't escape. You don't have to lift a finger. The weight of your existence is punishment enough. Keep rising. Keep moving forward. Let them choke on the ashes of their own destruction. Number 1. Never break your silence. It's the trap they set for you. They thought your silence was weakness. They mistook your patience for fear. But what they never understood is that silence is the deadliest weapon. It waits, it watches, and then it strikes when the enemy least expects it. While they were busy running their mouths, spinning their web of lies, you stayed still. Not because you were powerless, but because you knew something they didn't. Real power doesn't make noise, it doesn't beg for attention, and it never wastes energy on fools. Now, the silence they laughed at is the very thing suffocating them. The absence of your reaction has left them restless, paranoid, choking on their own deception. They thought they controlled the narrative, but the weight of their own words is pressing down on them, forcing them to face the truth they tried so hard to bury. Lies can only hold up for so long before they collapse under their own weight. And now the walls are closing in. They spent all their time trying to destroy you, trying to rewrite your story in their favor. But here's the twist. They never realized they were digging their own graves. Every rumor they spread, every false accusation they made, every attempt to turn others against you, it wasn't just an attack on you, it was a trap they set for themselves. And now, they're the ones caught in it. There's something poetic about watching those who tried to bring you down crumble under their own illusions. They thought their lies would bury you forever, but instead, they've become prisoners of their own deception. You never needed to seek revenge. Your silence was always working for you. They wanted a reaction. They wanted you to break. They wanted to see you fall. But what they got instead was your rise. And nothing torments them more than that. The power of being chosen isn't just about surviving. It's about thriving while your enemies drown in the mess they created. They built their strength on deception, while you built yours on resilience. That's why they're breaking now, while you remain untouchable. You don't have to fight them. The truth is doing it for you. Every whisper, every side glance, every shift in the air, they feel it. And deep down, they know it was never you they needed to fear. It was the consequences of their own actions. Watch as the same people who once mocked you now avoid your gaze. Watch as their confidence turns to regret, as their laughter fades into silence. They thought they had the upper hand, but they never realized that karma doesn't make announcements. It just arrives. And now, it's here. This is your time. Your silence was never weakness. It was the storm they never saw coming. If you feel the weight of these words, if you know deep down that your time has arrived, then make sure you never forget this power. Like, subscribe, and step fully into what's meant for you, because this is just the beginning. Number 2. Lies always collapse. Let them bury themselves in their own deception. They built their confidence on your destruction. They stood on a stage made of lies, believing that if they shouted their falsehoods loud enough, they could rewrite reality itself. They twisted the story, convinced people to turn against you, and for a moment, it seemed like they were winning. They laughed, they celebrated, they walked around as if they had secured their place at the top. But what they failed to understand is that a throne built on deception will always collapse beneath its own weight. The cracks are showing now. The same people who blindly followed them are starting to question. The ones who once stood by them are stepping back, realizing they were nothing more than pawns in someone else's manipulation. The illusion is breaking. The foundation they thought was solid is crumbling beneath their feet, and for the first time, they are the ones panicking. Lies are like a house of cards. It takes just one gust of truth to send everything crashing down. And now, the wind is blowing. Every deception they told needs constant reinforcement, new fabrications, and endless maintenance. But exhaustion is setting in. They can't keep up with their own game. They are trapped in the web they spun for you, and there's no way out. This isn't just karma. It's payback arriving right on schedule. They thought they were untouchable. They believed they had sealed your fate. But they never stopped to consider that fate had something planned for them instead. The ground beneath them is shifting. The walls are closing in, and the fear is sinking in. They are realizing too late that they were never in control. And here's the most satisfying part. You didn't have to do a thing. You never had to fight back. You never had to prove yourself. You let them dig their own grave while you focused on your own path. And now, the very people they wanted to impress will be the ones to watch them fall. They tried to destroy you, but instead, they destroyed themselves. Their lies were supposed to break you, but instead, they built the stage for their own humiliation. They thought they rewrote the story, but the truth has a way of correcting itself. And now, they get to watch everything they built wash away, piece by piece, while you rise above it all. This is your moment. The year of payback is here, and they're finally paying the price. Number 3. When they speak against you, stay silent. Their own words will destroy them. They used to say your name like it was a punchline. They spoke with confidence, as if their lies were truth, as if dragging you through the mud would make them stand taller. Every word they spoke was meant to stain your reputation, to turn people against you, to control how the world saw you. And the worst part? They did it so easily. No hesitation, no second thoughts, just deception rolling off their tongues like it was second nature. But now, something has changed. The same mouths that once spread rumors so freely have gone silent. The same voices that carried falsehoods with ease now stammer, hesitate, trip over their own words. They aren't so bold anymore. Why? Because the truth has flipped the script, and they have nowhere to hide. They thought their words had power. They believed that if they repeated the same lie enough times, it would become reality. But they underestimated something. The truth always finds a way to rise. And when it does, it doesn't just clear your name, it exposes theirs. Now, the same people who cheered them on, who believed their every word, are looking at them differently. The blind support they once had is fading. The whispers are no longer about you. They're about them. Questions are being asked. Doubts are forming. And for the first time, they're the ones under the spotlight. Their own words are suffocating them. The same lies they used as weapons have wrapped around them like a noose, tightening with every passing day. They can feel it. The panic is setting in. You don't have to lift a finger. They are exposing themselves. Every nervous glance, every awkward excuse, every failed attempt to explain their past actions is proof that their time is up. The fear has set in. The same name they once spoke with arrogance is now one they avoid. They won't even dare to mention you anymore. Because deep down, they know. They know the damage they tried to do to you is unraveling right in front of them. They know that their so-called victory was nothing more than an illusion. They know that truth isn't just clearing your path, it's erasing them from their own. This is the price of deception. This is the cost of falsehood. This is payback. They thought they controlled the story. They thought they had power. But now, they are the ones running from the truth. Let them choke on their own words. Let them feel the weight of what they did. You don't need revenge. Their own actions are destroying them. This is your time. If you know the truth is working in your favor, if you feel the shift happening, then stand strong. Like, subscribe, and watch as the universe hands them exactly what they deserve. Number 4. Fake power comes with a price, and their bill is long overdue. For too long, they played the game of deception, thinking they had discovered a loophole in life. Lies were their currency, manipulation was their investment, and betrayal was the tool they used to build false power. Every word they twisted, every person they misled, every mask they wore, it all went into their fraudulent account, convincing them they were untouchable. But what they didn't realize is that deception isn't a gift, it's a loan. And every loan comes with interest. At first, it looked like they had won. People believed their lies. They gained influence. They soaked in the benefits of their false reality, growing comfortable in their illusion of control. They thought they could spin their stories forever, that as long as they stayed ahead, the consequences would never catch up. But that's the thing about false power. It has an expiration date. And now, the debt is due. The very lies that once elevated them are now pulling them under. The foundation they built on deceit is crumbling beneath their feet. They can't run, they can't spin new stories fast enough, and they can't undo what's been done. Every single move they made in darkness is now being exposed under the harshest light. Their manipulation, their arrogance, their belief that they could escape accountability, it's all crashing down. This isn't about revenge. This isn't about getting even. This is balance. The universe doesn't let debts go unpaid, and when deception racks up interest, the cost is brutal. Their credibility is collapsing, their name is losing its value, and the same people who once stood by them are walking away in disgust. They thought they were building an empire, but all they were doing was digging a pit for themselves. And now, they're falling into it. The worst part? No one feels sorry for them. The world won't mourn their downfall. There will be no sympathy, no second chances, no rescue. Because when the truth finally stands, deception is left with nothing but ruins. They thought they were playing the game, but the game was playing them. And now, it's over. Chosen ones, sit back and watch. You don't need to lift a finger. Time is delivering the justice they never saw coming. If you know the power of truth, if you feel the shift happening, then don't just watch. Be part of this movement. Hit that like button, subscribe, and stand tall in your power. This is not just a video. This is your confirmation that you were always destined to rise above their deception. And the best part, they have no choice but to watch you win. Stay tuned, because this is just the beginning. Number 5. Liars can't handle the truth. Watch it crush them under its weight. They thought lies would protect them. They believed deception was their shield, their weapon, their power. But what they never understood is that lies are heavy, and the truth is relentless. Lies require maintenance, constant reinforcement, and an endless performance just to keep them standing. Truth. It doesn't need effort. It stands on its own, unshaken, waiting for the right time to strike. At first, they managed to convince people. They built a false reality, a twisted version of events where they were the hero and you were the villain. They spread rumors, whispered in ears, manipulated minds. And for a while, it worked. People believed them. They walked around confidently, thinking they had secured their place. But lies have a short lifespan. They demand upkeep. And now, the weight of their own deception is crushing them. The cracks are showing. The same people who once believed their stories are starting to ask questions. The narrative they carefully constructed is falling apart. And the worst part, they can't keep up with their own lies. They're tripping over their own words, struggling to remember every false detail, every excuse, every fabricated twist they once spoke with so much confidence. The truth is wrapping around them like chains. And now, they're the ones trapped. They thought their words had power over you. They assumed their lies would stick forever, that you would never escape the damage they tried to cause. But what they failed to realize is this: truth doesn't just expose lies, it erases them. The moment people see through the illusion, the liar becomes irrelevant. No one listens to them anymore. No one trusts them. Their words hold no weight. They have lost the very thing they fought so hard to keep: control. Now they are drowning in the very deception they created. They used to walk with pride, but now their own reflection haunts them. They avoided the truth for so long, but it was never going to disappear. It waited. It watched. And now it's staring them in the face. This is the price of deception. This is the weight of dishonesty. And this is the year of payback. They can't run from it. They can't escape it. And you don't have to do a thing. You already won the moment you refuse to play their game. If you feel this truth, if you know this is your time, then step fully into your power. Like, subscribe, and let the world watch as you rise. Because their lies are fading, and you are only getting stronger. Number 6. They counted you out. Make sure they never stop regretting it. They never expected you to rise. In their minds, your downfall was guaranteed. They spoke your name with certainty, as if they held the pen to your fate. They whispered behind closed doors, telling themselves that their betrayal was enough to finish you. They convinced others that you were done, that you would never recover, that you would drown under the weight of their deception. But they made one fatal mistake. They thought they buried you. What they never realized was that you weren't buried. You were planted. And now, much to their horror, you didn't just survive, you thrived. You didn't just withstand their attacks, you became stronger because of them. Every lie they told, every attempt to erase you, every obstacle they placed in your way, it all became fuel for your rise. Now, every time they see you standing taller, achieving more, and moving forward with unstoppable force, it eats them alive. Nothing is more painful for those who tried to break you than watching you succeed beyond their reach. Every step you take forward is a reminder of their failure. They didn't just want to hurt you, they wanted to erase you. They wanted the world to believe their twisted version of events. They wanted their lies to become your truth. But instead of becoming a forgotten story, you became a living testament to their wasted efforts. And that's the beauty of true resilience. You never had to announce your comeback. You didn't need to scream for justice, beg for apologies, or prove anything to them. You simply kept going. You built yourself back up, piece by piece, without asking for permission, without waiting for approval. And now, you are untouchable. Not because they stopped attacking, but because their attacks no longer reach you. That is the ultimate payback. Not anger, not revenge, just existing in a way they never thought possible. They believed they had power over your destiny, but the truth was, they were never the authors of your story. They were just a footnote, a lesson, a reminder of what could never break you. Now, they have to live with that truth. They have to wake up every day knowing that you won. And the best part? There's nothing they can do about it. If you know what it feels like to rise despite the odds, if you carry the fire of resilience inside you, then claim your power. Like, subscribe, and keep proving them wrong, without saying a single word. Because this is the year of payback, and the only thing left for them to do is watch. Number 7. The universe never forgets. Their time to pay has arrived. They thought they got away with it. They smirked, celebrated, and carried on like their hands were clean, like their lies had no weight, like their betrayal would never come back to them. But what they never understood is that nothing disappears. Not pain, not deception, not the energy they put into destroying you. It lingers, it transforms, and eventually it returns. And now, the bill is due. For a while, it looked like they won. They moved on with ease while you carried the weight of their actions, trying to make sense of the destruction they left behind. They thought time would erase what they did, that the universe would simply forget. But time doesn't erase debts, it collects them. Every move they made, every lie they told, every calculated act of deceit was written down, stored, and saved for the right moment. And now, that moment has arrived. They can feel it, the shift, the unraveling, the consequences creeping up on them like shadows they can't escape. Maybe their relationships are crumbling. Maybe their reputation is turning to dust. Maybe their own allies are now turning against them. Whatever it is, make no mistake. This isn't bad luck. This isn't coincidence. This is their own energy coming back to them, stronger than before. The best part, you don't have to do a single thing. You don't have to chase revenge. You don't have to expose them. And you definitely don't have to waste another second thinking about them. Because justice isn't about seeking revenge. It's about watching balance be restored. And right now, everything they tried to take from you is making its way back to you, while everything they built on lies is crumbling beneath their feet. They can run, they can deny, they can pretend like nothing is happening, but you can't outrun what you put into the world. The energy they sent your way was never lost. It was just waiting for the perfect moment to return. Sometimes fast, sometimes slow, but always on time. And now, as they sit in the ruins of their own making, they finally understand. They were never getting away with anything. The universe was just waiting to serve them their due. Chosen ones, stand tall. This is the year of payback. If you feel this truth, if you know deep down that your time has arrived, like, subscribe, and step fully into your power. Because this is just the beginning. Number 8. Stop waiting for an apology. Your peace is more powerful than their guilt. They will never admit what they did. They will never say, "I was wrong, I lied, I hurt you." Not because they don't know the truth, but because accepting it would shatter the illusion they built about themselves. Their ego is too fragile to handle the weight of accountability, so they do what cowards do. They pretend. They walk around like nothing happened, like they never spread lies, like they never tore you down. They avoid the truth like it's a wildfire, knowing that once they acknowledge it, it will consume them. But deep down, they feel it. The knowledge of what they did follows them everywhere. They carry their guilt in the way they avoid your presence, in the way their voices shake when your name comes up, in the restless way they move through life. Because they know. And knowing is eating them alive. At one point, you may have craved an apology. You may have thought that if they just admitted their wrongdoing, it would fix things, that it would erase the damage, undo the betrayal, and finally bring you peace. But here's the truth. Their apology wouldn't change anything. It wouldn't heal you. It wouldn't make them a better person. And most of all, it wouldn't undo the fact that they did it in the first place. People who are truly sorry don't need to be forced to admit their mistakes. They don't need to be cornered, convinced, or begged to take responsibility. They feel the weight of what they've done, and they own it. But these people, they are not built that way. Their entire existence depends on running from the truth. So why should you waste another second waiting for them to do something they are incapable of? Why should you wait for words that mean nothing from people who mean nothing? They don't hold your closure. You do. The moment you realize that, you break free from the chains they tried to put on you. They will never say the words, but their regret will show in ways they can't hide. In the way their world starts to crumble, in the way life humbles them, in the way their own lies trap them in a prison of their own making. Their suffering will be silent, but trust me, it will be loud enough for them to hear. The real power move. Move on. Don't need them. Don't need their guilt, their shame, or their worthless apologies. The moment you stop waiting is the moment you truly win. Because the truth is, they owe you nothing, and you owe them even less. Number 9. Don't seek revenge. Real justice arrives when they least expect it. They think they got away with it. They laugh. They move on, acting like their hands are clean, like the damage they caused has been erased. But what they don't realize is this: justice has no expiration date. Time doesn't wash away the truth. It doesn't erase the lies they spread, the relationships they poisoned, the doors they slammed in your face before you even had a chance to walk through. No, what's stolen always finds its way back. And when it does, it won't be gentle. Revenge is emotional, it's impulsive, it's about reacting in the moment just to feel like you've evened the score. But this isn't about revenge. This is justice. And justice doesn't scream. It doesn't beg for attention. It doesn't need validation. It moves in silence, waiting for the perfect moment, when the damage is undeniable, when they're at their weakest, when they least expect it. They took from you not just opportunities, not just relationships, but peace itself. They planted doubt in people's minds. They twisted the truth, painted you as something you were not, thinking they had the power to define you. But here's the thing about lies: they demand constant maintenance. They need fuel, they need new stories, they need more deception just to stay alive. And eventually, they crumble under their own weight. Meanwhile, you didn't waste energy chasing them. You let life handle it. You didn't stoop to their level because you knew something they didn't. What's meant for you will never stay in someone else's hands for long. The opportunities they blocked, new doors are opening, the connections they ruined, better ones are on the way. The pain they caused, it's shaping you into something even stronger. They thought they were shutting you down, but all they did was prepare you for something greater. And now their time has come, not because you forced it, but because that's how life works. Justice doesn't rush. It arrives unannounced, collecting every debt they thought they could ignore. And when it does, they'll realize, too late, that running was never an option. This is your year. The universe hasn't forgotten, and neither should you. If you feel this truth, if you know your time is coming, then stand in your power. Like, subscribe, and step fully into what's meant for you, because their lies won't last. But your rise, that's permanent. Number 10. They started a war they couldn't win. Now let time finish it. They wanted war, but they were never ready for the battlefield. They threw the first punch, launched the first attack, spread the first lie, thinking they were untouchable. They moved with arrogance, with the confidence of those who believe they will never face consequences. They whispered in shadows, built alliances on deceit, and waged their war against you as if they had already won. But they forgot something. Not all battles are fought with weapons. Some are won by simply standing still and letting time do the work. They assumed you would strike back immediately, react in anger, lash out in desperation. They wanted to see you stumble, to make you look reckless, to paint you as the villain in their twisted version of events. But you didn't play their game. You didn't fight back because you didn't have to. You let patience do the heavy lifting. Now, look at them. They are exhausted, drained by their own lies. The weight of their deception is pressing down, and the false reality they built is starting to collapse. The people who once stood beside them are backing away, realizing they were part of something built on sinking sand. The same voices that cheered them on are now whispering behind their backs. This is the reality of war. It doesn't just destroy the enemy, it consumes the one who starts it. They were so eager to take you down that they never thought about what would happen when the dust settled. They never imagined that the battle they started would end up being their own downfall. And the best part, you never even had to fight. They did this to themselves. They created the lies. They fueled the drama. They spread the deception. Now they are drowning in the very chaos they unleashed. You just stood back and let time handle what needed to be handled. The battle they thought they won, it was never yours to fight. You walked away untouched while they were left standing in the wreckage of their own war. And that is the ultimate payback. Chosen ones, this is your year. Let them destroy themselves. If you know your silence is your power, if you feel this truth in your bones, then make sure you like, subscribe, and step fully into your victory. The war is over, and you never had to lift a finger. Number 11. They used your name for clout. Now they'll pray. No one remembers theirs. For a while, your name was their currency. They tossed it into conversations like loose change, eager to spend it for attention. They attached it to gossip, wove it into rumors, and threw it into every discussion where they could get a reaction. Your name held weight, and they knew it. But instead of earning their own worth, they stole yours. They built their moments of relevance on your existence. And for a while, it worked. People listened. People believed. They soaked in validation that was never theirs to begin with. But here's the thing about borrowing power. It always has to be returned. And now, their time is up. The same name they used so freely is the one thing they wish would disappear. The truth has surfaced, and suddenly they're not in control of the story anymore. The lies they spread aren't just fading, they're backfiring. The people they once convinced are now seeing the cracks. The same audience that once cheered them on is now questioning everything. Their credibility is crumbling, and there's no way to rebuild a foundation made of deception. They were bold when they dragged your name through the mud, loud when they spread lies, confident when they turned others against you. But look at them now, silent, avoiding your name like it's a curse, downplaying their involvement, pretending they never said what they said, hoping the world forgets their role in the damage. But that's the thing. They don't get to choose when people stop remembering. When you build your reputation off someone else's name, you don't own your success. You rent it, and the rent is overdue. The same spotlight they once craved is now blinding them, exposing them. The shame of being caught is heavier than the satisfaction they once had from tearing you down. They wanted the world to know your name, and now they'll do anything to make the world forget theirs. This is the power of being chosen. You never had to fight them. Their own actions set the trap, and now they're the ones caught in it. Keep rising, keep moving forward. Let them deal with the weight of their own lies. You were always the main character. They were just background noise. If you feel this power, if you know that this is your moment of payback, then like, subscribe, and stand tall, because this is just the beginning. Number 12. Fake alliances always fall apart. Let them destroy themselves. They never had the strength to face you alone. Deep down, they knew they weren't enough, so they did what all cowards do. They gathered an army. They whispered in ears, spread rumors, and found weak-minded followers willing to believe their lies. They convinced others to turn against you, using deception and manipulation as their weapons. And for a moment, it looked like they had won. Their numbers were growing, their voices were loud, and their confidence was high. But here's what they never understood. Loyalty built on lies is as fragile as glass. It might look solid at first, but all it takes is one crack for it to shatter. And now, that's exactly what's happening. The same people who stood united against you are turning on each other. The same whispers they used to poison minds against you are now being used against them. They thought their alliance was unbreakable, but people who thrive on gossip, betrayal, and deceit don't change. They don't stop being snakes just because the target shifts. Eventually, they turn on their own. Now, the very army they built against you has become a battlefield of its own. They are paranoid, watching their backs, wondering who will be the next to betray them. The same lies they used to climb are the ones pulling them down. And the best part? You don't even have to lift a finger. You're not even in the picture anymore. You moved on, rising above the mess they created. While they fight amongst themselves, you are thriving, untouchable. They spent so much time plotting against you that they never realized they were digging their own graves. Now, they're stuck in a war they started, but can't finish. Their so-called supporters are exposing each other. Their trust is gone. Their circle is crumbling. And you're standing tall, watching as they destroy themselves, knowing that this was never your battle. It was always theirs. This is the power of being chosen. You never needed revenge. You never needed to fight. All you had to do was let time do its work. And now, they're paying the price. If you know this is your moment, if you feel the weight of these words, like subscribe and stand in your power, because this is just the beginning. Number 13. Their control was an illusion. Now, watch it burn to the ground. They thought they had control. They walked around like kings and queens, twisting reality, manipulating people, and making sure their lies were the only thing anyone believed. They built their power on deception, and for a while, it worked. People listened. People followed. People feared them. But what they never realized is that power built on lies is like a house of cards. One gust of truth, and it all comes crashing down. And now, the collapse has begun. The tables aren't just turning, they're being flipped over, shattered, burned to the ground. This isn't some quiet reversal. This is destruction. The very foundation they stood on is crumbling beneath their feet. And no matter how much they fight it, no matter how desperately they try to hold everything together, they can't stop what's coming. People are waking up. The truth isn't just leaking out, it's exploding in their faces. The ones they manipulated, the ones they fooled, the ones they convinced to turn against you. They're seeing the cracks now. They're stepping back. They're realizing they were lied to, used, turned into puppets for someone else's dirty game. And when people wake up to that truth, they don't just walk away. They turn against the liar. They wanted to keep you at the bottom. They wanted you silenced, erased, forgotten. They thought they could rewrite history, make sure you never got back up. But instead, they're the ones falling. The same rope they tried to strangle you with is now wrapped around their own necks. They are watching, helpless, as their empire collapses in slow motion. That's the beauty of karma. It doesn't just return what was given, it multiplies it. Every move they made against you is coming back at them, but worse. And the best part? You don't even have to lift a finger. This was never your battle to fight. It was always theirs. They started this war, and now they have to live in the wreckage they created. Number 14. The best revenge. Let your success be their eternal punishment. They thought they won. They thought they had you figured out, that they could break you, bury you, and move on like nothing happened. But they made one fatal mistake. They underestimated who you are. They didn't expect you to rise. They didn't think you would thrive. And now, the very sight of you haunts them. Nothing burns more than watching someone you tried to destroy become untouchable. They expected you to drown in misery, to be consumed by pain, to stay bitter while they walked away without a scratch. But instead, you kept moving forward. Every step you take, every goal you reach, every ounce of happiness you experience, it's a silent dagger to their ego. The karma isn't just their failure, it's having to watch you win. They see you achieving things they swore were impossible. They hear your name spoken with respect while their own fades into irrelevance. They feel the shift, the one they can't control. They can't stop it. They can't undo what's been done. They wasted their energy trying to break you, only to see you rise higher than they ever imagined. This is your power. This is your payback. Life always finds a way to balance the scales. The lies they spread, the manipulation they used, the betrayal they thought would never catch up to them, it all crumbles in the end. They may have thought they were winning for a while, but truth is relentless. No deception lasts forever. And now, their foundation built on falsehood is collapsing beneath them. You never had to fight fire with fire. Your comeback was never about revenge. It was about resilience. They tried to erase you, but they never had the power to do so. You weren't buried, you were planted. And now, while they scramble to hold on to their crumbling empire of lies, you're rising beyond their reach, living proof that no weapon formed against you will ever prosper. But the hardest truth for them to accept: you were never the problem. The real battle was always within them. Their need to destroy you came from their own insecurity, their own inadequacy, and no matter how much they tried to control the narrative, they couldn't escape the consequences of their own choices. Now, they have to live with that. They have to watch you standing tall, glowing, winning. The bill has come due, and the receipt is in their hands. Let them be haunted, not just by their guilt, but by the reality that the life they tried to steal from you has only grown brighter. Their war was never with you. It was with themselves. And now, as the world watches them crash and burn, you remain untouched, standing in your power, fueled by the truth that has always been on your side. This is your moment. Let them watch. If this resonated with you, if you feel the power in every word, then don't stop here. Subscribe. This isn't just a channel. It's a movement of strength, resilience, and unstoppable confidence. Every video will bring you the raw, the real, and the truth you deserve to hear. This is just the beginning. Step into your power. Stand tall, and let the world witness your rise.